it's your girl. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jennifer. I am a recent interior design graduate. I am here in hopes to teach you guys something new on interior design, or if you're looking to renovate a space of your own at home or wherever, I am here to give you guys some pointers. If you want to know more about this channel or more about me, I made a get to know me, get ready with me about 2 weeks ago. So if you do want to know more, I recommend you guys watch that get to know me. I've learned a lot in college, so I'm gonna be showing you guys how I used all the tools that I've learned and apply them into real life design projects. I am here for you guys, okay? I'm here to hold your hand. I'm here to give you some pointers using actual design tools and materials. That's right. That's what we're here for, okay? Okay, so we're gonna jump right in. Today we're gonna be covering a home office renovation that I did for Min and I. This was a pretty small project, but I'm gonna be showing you guys what I did step by step. I'm gonna be taking you guys through the stages of interior design. These are actual, stages that an interior designer has to go through in order to complete a successful project. So let's get right into it. So since we're all working from home, or in Min's case, learning remotely, this space was very necessary for us, mainly because we believe that there should be a separation or at least a balance between work and life, and it's already kind of hard to do that even without COVID restrictions. So yeah, the space was really necessary for us. There should definitely be a designated place where we can rest and kind of escape from all that work. I also know how tempting it could be having a bed right next to your desk, so taking out the bed was a non-negotiable. I finished my last semester working remotely, and it was very difficult having my bed in the same place as my workplace. It didn't mix well. So our first step in our design process is going to be our programming stage, followed by concept development, presentation, final design development, and execution. Okay, we'll be excluding the presentation stage, obviously, because this isn't for a client, it's for us. So one of the first steps that we have to take as an interior designer is figure out what the design problem is and the design solution. So when I say design problem, I mean what kind of issues do you run into when you're utilizing the space? This could be bad lighting or clutter. It's basically the reason why you're renovating in the first place. Now, in order to do this, I had to create what is called a bubble plan for the space. So what a bubble plan is like a floor plan, but instead of using furniture, you're going to be using bubbles to represent the zones. This simplifies the project a little bit and kind of gives you a head start, to visualize the structure of the room, to figure out where exactly you want your things to be. So it could, help the functionality of the space. So here's an example of the bubble plan that I did for the space at first. I knew I wanted the workstations on either end of the room. I knew I wanted some shelf decor on our right side. There was this little corner of the room that I knew I wanted to use as like a little reading nook, or a place, we could take a quick breather from all the work we've been doing. And yeah, that was basically my structure of the room. Once you've refined your bubble diagram, you have to settle in with the functionality of the space. You have to ask yourself questions like, is there a good traffic flow? Where does the sun shine most in the room? Because that's where I want to put my plant or my accent chair, things like that. You want to place things where they are easily accessible to you, like in that moment. So you're not going to be putting your bookshelf way across the room when you know you're going to be grabbing a book for a research paper every other, 30 minutes. You have to place things thoughtfully. You have to think about these things way before you start thinking about buying decor items, is what I'm trying to tell you. My plan for this space, now that we figured out our zones, was to have our desks on either end of the room, so there'd be some sort of privacy, and this maximizes the space in the center for an area rug. I knew I wanted shelving on both our right side. I also thought to hang some eye-catching artwork above our monitors to keep us a little motivated, a little inspired, you know. Also, you guys, it's really useful to know the compass orientation of the room, just so you'd know how much natural daylight comes into the space. Min and I had 2 northeast facing windows and 1 southeast facing window, so the amount of light that this room receives is amazing. But if you don't know, north facing windows receive sun very early in the morning and no sun throughout the day. So north facing rooms are usually the coolest. East facing windows receive sun all morning. South facing windows are those who receive the most light, sometimes very intense light, so you want to watch out for that. Maybe consider blackout curtains if you do plan on having that space for your bedroom. West facing windows get full afternoon and evening nights, so not as intense as south facing, but still a really good amount of light. So that pretty much concludes the programming stage of interior design. The programming stage really lays down the groundwork for a solution later in the design phase. So this is really your foundation. This is truly, you know, what is important about a space. Obviously other factors like decor and aesthetics play a part, but you won't be able to enjoy your space until you fully gathered and analyzed the information about your problem before you solve it with design. So now that we have a plan for our furniture placement, we are ready for concept development. Woo! This is probably what I struggled with most in college, and it was the death of me. Really, because if you don't have a solid design concept, guys, it'll be really hard to stay on track with your vision. The most successful concept statements are ones that describe the project with principles and elements of design and determine what kind of feelings and emotions were to be evoked from the design. It doesn't have to be a full page, obviously. It could be like very brief and still work. For this home office, I pushed for a rich, bold green on 3 of the walls to make the space feel sophisticated and modern. Min was really prominent on having some industrial touches, so black accents paired with walnut finishes suited the green walls perfectly. A beautiful amount of light filters through the room, so including brown leather textures for our desk chairs and our accent chairs really pulls those greens and blacks and walnut finishes together without darkening the room too much. To contrast those dark colors though, I made sure to include some lighter textures represented in the second largest areas of the room, such as the curtains, carpet, and that 4th wall. To accentuate that industrial look that he wanted, an area rug with a weathered Parisian style print would really tailor the space and make it look a little more thought out. So that pretty much concludes the concept development stage for this project. Usually concept development stage would also include schematic sketches. These sketches are pretty much just made up of what I was talking about in my concept statement. I knew I wanted Parisian rug, so let's see how that Parisian rug looks like in the space. I knew I wanted green walls. Let's see how that green wall looks like really quickly with a sketch. This sketch would pretty much withhold all that stuff that we talked about in our design statement. Okay guys, enough with the chit chat. Let's see what we're working with. Okay, so Min's room wasn't really bad per se, but all that light was being blocked by the bed, all the clothes, and the gray tones were really making the space feel really dreary and cold and uninviting. So that brings us to phase 1. So phase 1 pretty much consisted of clearing out the space and painting. We painted the ceiling flat white, which is what you're always supposed to paint a ceiling with, a flat color. We had to sand the walls because this is Min's like 5th time painting these walls, so yeah, we had to sand them. Okay, so after we finished decluttering and after we finished painting, we wanted to get all of our DIYs out of the way. He was really prominent on building his own desk. We had a lot of time on our hands and he was just looking to do something with that time. He was kind of winging it, but he definitely had a good idea of what he wanted to do. I won't be really explaining or making this how to build your own desk tutorial because, like I said, he was kind of winging it, which wasn't bad. I mean, he succeeded. Everything turned out pretty phenomenal considering he didn't really know what he was doing. This was pretty much his first time ever working with wood. So yeah, it turned out great. This brings us to phase 2. Yeah. So we had ended up going to a woodworking shop called Woodcraft in Rockville. The service here was really great. They held our hand through everything and answered all of our questions with patience. I will leave a link of the video that helped us build Min's tabletop in the description below. I won't be getting into too much detail, but it was a fairly easy job doing this, so I'm sure you guys can do it if you guys are interested. We stained both tabletops with a walnut finish and then sealed it with a polyurethane. Our first mistake was not using pre-stain. I highly recommend using pre-stain if you're working with composite wood because the stain won't soak as well if you don't use pre-stain. And finally, I spray painted the legs of my desk that I already had black to match the black accents that I was going to use in the room. So that was pretty much phase 2 of the project. It is time for our final design documentation stage. This is where we start picking out our furnishings and decor items that fit into the design. I started by taking screenshots of all the furnishings that I knew I wanted, that I knew would fit into my design, and I put it all on a Milanote file where I can pretty much see everything that I'm going to buy or that I plan on buying. What this pretty much is an FF&E. What FF&E stands for is furnishings, fixtures, and equipment. This takes us to phase 3. So we tried our hardest not to go out to stores as much, but I needed to see for myself what kind of rugs were available in person. I got this one from World Market. I had to choose a rug with almost no pile. This had no pile at all because I had carpet. I DIY'd some shelving. I used leftover plywood that Min had from working on his desk. I hemmed my own curtains. It was a fairly easy job by using hem tape. I measured 1 inch and just tucked the hem tape right under and flattened it with my iron, and it stuck right on. I know that curtains are supposed to kiss the floor, but I had to make them just right above the carpet because Nugget, our dog, he likes to go potty on them when they're too close to the carpet. So yeah, I DIY'd a plexiglass dry erase board for Min so he can put up any appointments he had or his schedule. Okay, so we're coming to an end here, guys. At this point of the project, everything is starting to fall into its designated place. We're talking wall art, all the details and cosmetics of the space that make the space pretty and attractive, aesthetically pleasing, all those good things. And yeah, this takes us to our final phase of the space. It is our final touches. ask, I am not engaged. I put the ring on the wrong finger. Don't come for me with the congratulations after watching this video. Do you want to say anything?
Oh, so it's like that?
I'm not engaged. I repeat, I am not engaged.
She's lying!
Stop! I also decided to do some last minute touches on this little end table because the black didn't really match with the rest of the blacks I had in the room, and I switched out the MDF board with an actual piece of wood and stained it the same stain as my tabletop. So that pretty much concludes this entire video. I had a lot of fun working on this project. I know it's not, you know, the best. I don't want to downplay my project. I know it's kind of bad doing that as a designer, but this was my first ever project working on my own, and I got to experiment with color, and I realized how truly hard working with dark colors and trying to figure out how I can incorporate some light colors so it wouldn't be so dark. But overall, I enjoyed the process. I learned so much doing this project, and I'm super excited to take on more projects. There was definitely room for mistakes here. I'm so glad I did this project. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.